Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Wander Washington. We are more than excited to be here with Mike Moe. And just to tell you a little bit more about Mike, Mike is the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Tourism Development for Washington Tourism Alliance, the state tourism destination marketing organization. He was born and raised in Washington, and he's worked with the Washington Trails Association since 2012 and loves sharing a vast array of experiences, all available in his own state. Mike, please take us to Bellingham.
Thank you, Jacob. My name is Mike Moe, and today I'm coming to you live from my basement. I'm excited to be your guide as we continue to explore our home state in the series Wandered Washington. Now, if you weren't with us 2 weeks ago when we went to Leavenworth, every other Wednesday, I will be taking to a new destination throughout Washington, and we'll talk to local experts about what you can expect when you visit. And as always, you can explore on your own on the state tourism website, experiencewa.com. That's experiencewa.com. So today we're heading north to Bellingham. It's located just on our side of the Canadian border in the northwest corner of our state. When I think of Bellingham, I think of a college town that boasts a vibrant music scene, award-winning craft breweries, access to Mount Baker, which has some of the best snow in North America for skiing and snowboarding. Yeah, I also think of the quiet Fairhaven neighborhood where you can spend a rainy day sipping on coffee, exploring its many bookshops, or maybe even heading out on a whale watching tour from its cruise terminal and then eating a gourmet dinner at one of its fine restaurants. Bellingham truly has something for everybody. So, getting there. To get to Bellingham, we've outlined it in blue. You'll simply head north on 405 until you get to I-5 and then continue heading north. Without traffic, the drive will take you just over an hour and a half. Now, if you happen to enjoy the great American pastime, and no, I'm not talking about baseball, I'm talking about shopping, on the way, there are two fabulous outlet malls just off the freeway. Seattle Premium Outlets on the Tulalip Reservation, just north of Marysville, and the Shops at Burlington in Burlington. There you'll find all your favorite brands at discount prices. Now, here's a pro tip. If you have the time and you enjoy beautiful scenery and you're getting off anyway in Burlington, once you've done your shopping, rather than get on I-5 again, head north on State Route 11, or what's better known as Chuckanut Drive. It's highlighted there in orange. The road clutches to cliffs as you wind through the Chuckanut Mountains, giving you a spectacular view of the Salish Sea and San Juan Islands. Now, the beauty can be very distracting while driving on those narrow roads, so be sure to use those scenic viewpoints so you're less tempted to gawk as you go. After 24 miles, the drive deposits you in the serene Fairhaven neighborhood we discussed earlier. So with us today, we have three Bellingham experts to give us the insider scoop on Bellingham. First, we have Hollie Huthman. She is the owner of the music venue, The Shakedown. Hollie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you are, a music venue owner and obviously very important in the music scene there in Bellingham. Tell us what people can expect when they visit Bellingham about the music scene. Like what they expect when they visit there.
Sure. Well, we have a historically pretty active music scene here in Bellingham, especially for a city our size. So I guess under normal circumstances, there are probably at least 2 or 3 different places that are hosting bands in town. The Wild Buffalo and the Shakedown are 2 of the bigger spots in town. Maker Theater, but they don't do quite as much music. So the Shakedown is a 200 capacity spot, and the Wild Buffalo is about twice our size. And we have a wide variety of genres that come through. We tend to have bands that are touring and hit Vancouver or Seattle, but they stop in Bellingham because it's an easy trip. And so we tend to get some of the bigger bands, but on the smaller stages. So we have a lot of people that actually come from Vancouver or Seattle just to see their favorite bands in a smaller space for a more intimate experience. And going out to a show in Bellingham isn't just going to the show, it's also going to dinner beforehand, going to get cocktails, and then even finding a taco truck after and staying at a hotel. Bellingham is really walkable. So we actually have a brand new renovated hotel downtown called Hotel Leo. So yeah, you could drive up to Bellingham, park at the hotel, and hit all kinds of spots within just a couple blocks for a really great night out.
That sounds amazing. Now I know COVID-19 has put a little damper on things. So to, obviously in a normal time, they could do all those things. What's open now? What's available during this COVID era?
Sure. Well, just about every bar and restaurant that I can think of is open. And everybody is coming up with really unique ways to bring the inside outside, I guess you'd say. So a lot of places are building patios and making some really inviting outdoor space right now. We're kind of all switching from summer to winter. So everybody's scrambling to figure out how to do that. But yeah, you can, I think bar hopping is a really common pastime in Bellingham. And so I have rarely met a person that stays in one place all night. They generally go to 3 or 4 spots. And I think it would be a really fun experience to come up and, check out everybody's different outdoor patios and see how they're doing it and the different things that they have to offer. We're actually even though that we don't have a lot of college kids around right now, everybody's pretty active.
Cool.
So.
I know you wanted to talk about an event. Give us an example of an amazing event that happens in Bellingham.
Sure. Well, one of the really fun events, other than outdoor activity sort of events, which you'll hear more about and is, very popular in Bellingham. But when it comes to live music, which is more my specialty, we have a really great free event every summer. It happens on Wednesdays. It's called Downtown Sounds, and it is a fundraising event. So thousands of people show up and stand in the street downtown to watch really great bands that come in nationally and some local bands too, and drink beer and socialize and dance. And it's a social gathering I really miss right now that we can't do, but hopefully we'll be back next summer, and is a really great Bellingham experience.
Here's to that. I hope it comes back next summer because I would love to come see that. So now tell us about your venue, the Shakedown.
Sure. So the Shakedown has been around for almost a decade now. Amazingly enough, we actually closed on our 9th anniversary. A little bit of a bummer, but hopefully we will be back open when we can. So the Shakedown is essentially, they're kind of an adult playground. We have 2 sides to our spot. So we've got the venue side, like I said, a 200 capacity dedicated venue. Then we've also got the side we call the Racket, which is a more of a traditional bar. There's no cover there. You can get Philly cheesesteaks and falafel from our kitchen. We have 14 pinball machines upstairs, which is a big draw. Everybody's really disappointed right now they can't play pinball. I hear about it every day. But the governor says no pinball until phase 4. And then, and you can go between the 2 spaces. So you can come out for a night to see a show. You can start off by getting a Philly cheesesteak, play a game of pinball, pop over, see the show for a while. Maybe you need a break, come back over for a drink at the Racket. So it's kind of a fun experience for a night out. And yeah, like I said, hopefully that venue sign will be operating once we can get back open.
Well, thank you so much, Hollie. That just sounds like a ton of fun, and can't wait to get things back open again. So next up, we have Emily Mallos and John DeWitt. They're with the Colshan Brewing Company up in Bellingham. Welcome, Emily and John. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
So I know that you guys have a really vibrant beer scene up there in Bellingham. Tell us about what people can expect, from the beer scene in Bellingham.
Me? What are we? I think we're up to about 16 breweries in Bellingham now. Boundary opened in the mid-90s. Chuckanut followed. We came on the scene in 2012, kind of being the 3rd brewery. There were a couple that were gone by then. And since we've been open in 8 years, there's been another 13, 14 breweries open in Whatcom County. We have a really vibrant brewing scene, all doing different styles of beer and different kinds of beer, and definitely different, just different vibe at each of the breweries, no question.
And on that note too, like each individual brewery kind of serves a different neighborhood, and it really becomes like your spot because it's in your corner of Bellingham.
Cool. Tell us about the history of brewing there. I know it started, back in the early 90s?
Early 90s, I think, with Whatcom Brewing, which was out in the county north of us. And then shortly, a year or two later, came Orchard Street Brewing in Boundary Bay. That was mid-90s. And just with a really early scene, and years, it was just those couple of breweries. And then David, our owner, he was brewing down at Fish Brewing in Olympia and wanted to come home because he was born and raised here and start a brewery in Bellingham. And so the idea of Kolshin, and it's funny, one of his friends told him, don't open a brewery in Bellingham. There's already two. It's saturated, which I think is a very funny statement at this point, about as far from the truth as you can get. And the scene has just grown since then. I mean, as soon as, within a year of Kolshin opening, there started to be a brewery every year, if not two. And in the last 3 years, we've seen 10 breweries open, and all fit, right, of different sizes and styles.
So there are different types of breweries then? People can expect something different when they go from one brewery to the next?
Very much so. I think when we opened, we were definitely a Northwest style brewery, focusing on Northwest IPAs and that style of beer. We have since really branched out. We made 80 different beers last year. We got a great lager program. But then there's other breweries like Chuckanut that's always been German style, brewing. That's what they do. That's their niche. Other Northwest breweries, we've got a brand new Otherlands across town, which is a little more European style, and they're focusing on the saison, some fruited sours, some really kind of some different beers, no doubt about it. And so everybody's kind of got their own style and own crowd. And like Emily said, it's all neighborhood pubs. That's kind of what we're doing here.
Yeah, and on that note too, like some places like Aslan, they have a kitchen in there, they have a full menu. Other places like Gruff, they've got a food truck parked, and like here at Kolshin, we have rotating food trucks. So kind of food pairing is different at each place you go. Some is more restaurant-like, some are more bar-like, and it just depends on what flavor you want.
Cool. And now I've heard that you guys have developed a program called Tap Trails. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so Tap Trails is like a community marketing effort in the Bellingham beer community. So it's a compilation of breweries and tap houses, and they're marked out on a map and have details of what style and where you can find them. And the idea being that you take the Tap Trail passport and you're able to go visit each brewery, get a stamp at each one, and then trade it in for some swag at the end.
Cool. And where can you find details on that? That's taptrails.com?
Yep, taptrails.com.
Nice. So tell us about some beer-related events in Bellingham. I know you guys have some that are pretty amazing.
Yeah. One of the biggest events of the year is Bellingham Beer Week, which I would say the crux of that is April Brews Day, which is a big festival put on down at the Depot Market Square. And it's a fundraiser for Max Higby Center. So a lot of the events that we're doing in the beer community also give back to the community as a whole. Another big one is Beer Prom that Kolshin puts on. It's like a mini brewers festival as a fundraiser for Lydia Place. This year, to host the event, we canned the beer. So we're donating $1 per 6-pack and $1 per pint for this one as just kind of a way to keep back without.
That sounds amazing. I think you guys have frozen there for us there, Emily. Are you back? There you go. So
We're back.
Emily, you're back. Tell us about your brewery, Kolshin Brewery, and what people can expect when they visit your brewery there.
Well, I'll take part of this. You take part of it too. So we have two locations, about a quarter of a mile apart from each other. We have a nice big outdoor beer garden at both, and they're very unique. Our Sunnyland location is over across from a fruit stand right by Trader Joe's. Bellingham, no TVs, Very family oriented. And then our second location over here at Roosevelt historically has been 21 and over, but not now. During COVID, we're open to everybody. We've got a giant tent here, rotating food trucks every day. And I think there's a great vibe at both places.
Definitely. Yeah. Our Roosevelt is definitely our industrial spot. It's our brewery. So that's what's here behind us. They're running the canning line today. And we're out here at the keg yard just kind of observing. Yeah, this is the space where we typically would throw our larger events, and there's just a lot of space here, a lot of room for play.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It's been really informative, and we really appreciate it. Okay, so up next we have Brandon Watts. He is the owner of the magazine Free Hub, a magazine about mountain biking. Thank you so much for being with us, Brandon.
Yeah, you bet, Mike. Thanks for having me.
So, Brandon, I know Bellingham is famous for outdoor, recreation. Tell us kind of what people can do in the Bellingham area when it comes to outdoor recreation.
Definitely. That is by far what brought me to Bellingham, was the access to the mountains and the water. It's a beautiful place where essentially every level of outdoor enthusiast can enjoy something special. From sailing on the bay to climbing the glaciated peaks of the North Cascades, we're lucky to have access to all that stuff so close to home. And that is definitely what brought me here. So, yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Cool. And I know that there's lots of things that you can do in the summer, but there's also lots of things you can do in the winter. Tell us about the winter sports there around in the Bellingham area.
Yeah. So Highway 542 essentially starts in Bellingham and is the main artery to get to the wilderness from Bellingham and up to Mount Baker ski area, which happens to be at the end of the road. So the end of 542, you drive up there, there's a big parking lot in the winter, and you'll see a bunch of motorhomes and people just ski bumming, and it's kind of a special sight. And that is roughly 55 miles from downtown and about an hour and 20 minutes. So provides some of the best skiing and boarding, as well as hiking in the summer months in the state, as I would call it out. But yeah, it overlooks Shuckson Mountain, which is one of the most beautiful, I think, peaks in the area. And yeah, it's a great spot.
And I think what's special about Mount Baker is the snow when it comes to the skiing and snowboarding. Tell us about, I know it's deep, and I know they had a record, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the 1998/99 season, Mount Baker had 1,140 inches of snow that season. So it is quite deep up there on any given day during the winter. And when you catch it on a powder day, it's something truly special.
Cool. Now, I know that every year you have a cool event called Ski to Sea. Can you tell us more about that event and what it's like to compete in that relay race?
Yeah, most definitely. So I have never done Ski to Sea, but a lot of my close friends have. And it's a multi-sport event that essentially goes from Mount Baker ski area and ends in Bellingham Bay. So it is essentially a bike, downhill ski, canoe, sea kayak, trail running. It's an amazing event, and it's a staple in the community for sure. So people come from far and wide to participate, and you get some fun activities in town on that given weekend. Yeah,
I bet. And I know that some people actually do the whole race by themselves, and other people participate as a team, which is a pretty cool event. And so I know that you're really into mountain biking. That's kind of what your magazine's about. Tell us about the mountain biking scene in Bellingham and what people can expect if they bring a bike up to Bellingham.
Yeah, today I would say that mountain biking is one of the bigger recreational groups in Bellingham. And a lot of that is due to access that we have here for mountain biking. So Galbraith Mountain is one of our main riding zones, and that is almost 2,200 acres, which I think is about roughly an eighth the size of Bellingham's total area, is a statistic I saw. So it's quite a an area to ride, and it's got over 65 miles of trails designed specifically for mountain bike use and a variety of skill levels. And then there's also the more technical riding zone up on Chuckanut Mountain in Larrabee State Park. And that is right on Bellingham and Samish Bay on the Salish Sea, and offers amazing riding, a little bit more technical, and you get to ride through some of the coastal rainforest with occasional views of the San Juan Mountains. So another beautiful option.
Cool. And I know because you have such an amazing scene there, lots of people who actually build bikes and, you know, accessories have founded their business in Bellingham. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. We have a wide variety of mountain bike related companies or outdoor companies here in Bellingham. There's bike manufacturers that reside here, Transition Bikes, Evil Bikes, Kona Bicycles are some of the bigger ones. And then we have some smaller, more custom bike manufacturers like Lost Bikes and Donkalope Bikes, as well as accessories like high above hip packs, Groundkeeper fenders, and then Trail Boss packable trail tools, as well as Free Hub magazine, of course.
Well, tell us about your magazine. I mean, you started your own magazine. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I founded Free Hub in 2009 and moved to Bellingham shortly after to surround myself with a strong mountain bike community. And I definitely found that when I arrived, and that community is much to what we owe the success of Free Hub to, because we are, in fact, a community-driven magazine that is focused on documenting the culture of our beloved sport. So it was cool to find that upon moving here to Bellingham. I think for the magazine itself, we've been around 12 years now. We're a community-driven coffee table quarterly, which is like a journal style publication, high quality printing, 116 pages, minimal advertising, lots of great content. And then we couple that with our website, freehubmag.com, and a bunch of film and video content that we do that is very similar to what we do in the print pages, and just as a documentation of our culture and the sport. So yeah, it's freehubmag.com. You can check us out online or look for us in one of the local retailers.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It's just such an amazing city, and all of our guests today have been fantastic. So thank you all so much. And that is our show for today. So for more information about Bellingham, go to bellingham.org. There you'll find all the information you need to plan your trip. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for being curious about our state. You are just so lucky to live in such an amazing place. I hope you take advantage and explore on your own. Now, in 2 weeks, we're going to head east to Walla Walla, wine country. I hope you join us. In the meantime, don't forget to check out that state website, experiencewa.com. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.